Hello, Graham Frost here again, and welcome to the second video in a series of 4 about how I make heart-shaped decisions and how you can too. So I'm thinking to myself that, my feeling is also that when we make decisions, there's probably a few major decisions that we make in our lives, and for me, it's about personal relationships. It's about where we live, and it's about what we do for a living. Are three of the main really big things that we make decisions about. And so I'd like to start by talking about personal relationships. And I've had 3 kind of long-term personal relationships in my life, and the first one was when I was in my very early 20s, and going into that relationship was probably not a heart-shaped decision at all. It was almost like it happened without me really realising it. I hadn't been looking for this particular relationship, and it was fantastic in a physical sense, and I thought I was really happy with that particular person. But was it based on a heart-shaped decision to go into that relationship? Quite possibly not. I don't think it was. Although I did have some very, very happy times in the 3 years that we were together. But when that person told me that they didn't feel the same way about me anymore after I'd recovered from cancer, I thought, well, the heart-shaped decision here then maybe has to be that I have to leave, because it doesn't feel good to me to stay in a relationship where I'm not really wanted. And I remember saying to that person, I said, well, I've never really stayed anywhere I haven't felt wanted, so perhaps I should leave. And it was messy and uncomfortable, but in the end I did leave, and the person I was in that relationship with wanted me to stay in touch with her, and the heart-shaped decision I had to make at that point was, no, I'm not going to stay in touch with her, because it's not going to serve me well. It doesn't feel right for me to stay in touch with her. It's almost like I've got to start again. How many times do I have to start again? Well, obviously I've got to start again, because this was probably the 3rd time since I'd left home at 17. Here I was in my early 20s, and I was starting again for possibly the 3rd time in my life. But that felt right, it's like a blank sheet of paper. You can't go back and right wrongs sometimes. You have to actually move forward and say, okay, I've learnt from that experience, but my feeling now is that I need to move on. And then many years later, quite a few years later, I was with somebody else, I met somebody else, and once again, I got myself in a bit of a mess, to be quite honest with you. My life of relationships has not been an easy one. And the heart-shaped decision was, again, to leave that particular relationship. And then, moving forward to comparatively recently, I'd spent a lot of my life single, and all of a sudden, when I'd completely accepted that I was going to be single, somebody walked into my life 3.5 years ago, and completely by coincidence at a friend's house I met this lady, and my heart-shaped decision that very evening was, I've got to keep in touch with her, because there's something there that feels special. And I was right, because we're still together now, and I moved 90 miles. I made the heart-shaped decision to move 90 miles to be close to her. So for goodness sake, if you're getting involved with personal relationships, I don't just mean, relationships, I mean friendships, how does that person make you feel? How do you feel when you're not with that person? This was because we had 3 years nearly of being 90 miles apart, so we couldn't see each other every day. We couldn't even see each other every week sometimes. So, but when I'm with her, it just feels 100. I just feel 100% alive, and as if it's as if it was meant to be. and long may it continue. But I think you really do have to put your feelings into relationships. I know people say, well, why are you saying that? It's obvious, but it isn't obvious to everyone. You see people that stay in relationships for what could be, could be the wrong reasons, and it's better, for example, for me to leave a relationship amicably, even if you've got children, than it is to stay with the children. And people stay in relationships for financial reasons and all kinds of things. And I say, if it doesn't feel right to be with that person, then you have to look at a way of not being with that person. If it feels right to be with that person, which it does to me at the moment, along may it continue, then find a way of being closer to that person, which is what we did. So that's from the heart. That's just me speaking from the heart. This is how I live my life, and being very open and honest about it. So I'll be back with another short video very soon. Thank you.